Hi. How are you all today? Welcome to Conversation with Regina. I'm Regina, and you are you. So, hi, how is everybody? Oh, gosh. I am just so nervous today. I don't know. I don't really know why, but I am, you know. I'm trying to be organized today, and I was trying to find a picture here a second ago. Excuse me. And I could not find it. So there goes organization. There it goes. It is gone. So let's take care of business. As I said once before, I'm Regina, and this is my channel, Conversations with Regina. I would love it if you would subscribe and ring the bell so you can get notified and give me some thumbs up. Oh, my stars. We need those thumbs up, get us kind of like into the algorithm. It helps a lot if you're liked. Most everybody that watches live hits the thumbs up, but those who watch afterwards don't do so much. And so for those of you who are watching this after we're off the air, please give me a thumbs up and like it and subscribe. Enough said about that, I guess. We're brought to you by Ray's Roast Coffee. I'm the proprietor thereof. And we do have an online website, www.raysroast.com. And be sure and use REY Rays because it's like a king's coffee. And we're drinking a Sumatran pea berry today. Raja Batak is the way it's listed on the website. And just an excellent coffee. But being a pea berry, it's pretty fragile in the roasting process. But we do a nice medium type roast on it. And it's just a bang up great coffee. So anyway, everybody's chatting up a little bit in the comments. And so let's go say hi to everybody before we get started. And Bizz has got, with all the things that were going on this morning, that was good. So we've got this topic today. Have I missed anybody? LaSoie was here and she hasn't come back yet. Okay. Okie doke. And so without further introduction, let's talk about healing. And where was I going to start? Oh, I know. I was going to start with a definition of healing. And, from dictionary, healing, it's a noun, and it's the process of making or becoming sound or healthy again. And as an adjective, it is healing, tending to heal, therapeutic. So, there we go. And so, what the hell are we healing from? So basically what it comes down to, especially for people such as we are, it's really anybody. The human condition is to suffer traumas throughout our existence, and a list of those traumas. Let me kind of give you a brief rundown of some of the things that could be. Oh dear, I had it all queued up there and it disappeared when it shut off, and things just start happening. Oh, it really did shut off. Oh dear. I have to go clear back to the scratch here. I'm sorry. I wasn't planning on that happening. So, common types of emotional trauma: divorce, relationship breakup, loss of health, losing a job, loss of financial stability, miscarriage, retirement, death of a pet, loss of a cherished dream, a loved one's serious illness, loss of friendship, loss of safety after trauma, selling the family home. And this all comes from the Chopra Treatment Center. And there are some of the common emotional responses. And I wondered about this one was the increased arousal, post-traumatic stress disorder, avoidance of social settings, friends, loved ones, feelings of anger or irritability, reactiveness, sense of guilt and shame, grief and depression, self-image and views of the world become cynical, sexual relationships suffer, and drug and alcohol abuse. And the things that will happen if unaddressed and left untreated, and we'll be done here in just a second: self-destructive and impulsive behaviors, uncontrollable reactive thoughts, feelings of shame, guilt, hopelessness, and despair, loss of former belief systems, compulsive behavioral problems, substance abuse challenges, sexual problems, inability to maintain close relationships or maintain appropriate friendships, hostility and argumentativeness, introversion, and feelings of being threatened. So that is kind of what we're talking about today. And see, what else was I going? So how many of you all have some of those traumas happen to you? How many of you need to heal? And are you ready to heal? You know, where'd that come from? Heidi's here. Hi, Heidi. So where was I? Last night, after I put up this thumbnail, I got a note from a person in London, a friend of mine from London, and they said, you need to watch this documentary before you go on the show. And it was Gabor Mate and his new documentary, The Wisdom of Trauma. And it's about healing. It's about the traumas that cause us to need to heal. And our marginalized community has trauma every day. I mean, most of us grew up with the trauma, the way we were treated in our families, and you know, the way we're treated sometimes in hostile environments and so forth. And you know, so we're ripe for needing this healing. One thing I want to say before we get started any further is that I am not a mental health professional. I got no education about this kind of stuff. And so please, if you need more than just support from each other, find your local healthcare, you know, mental health care person. Most of us here, because of having to have the signings and whatnot, have people sign off to do what we do. You know, a lot of us have therapists at our disposal, and if you don't and you feel as though you need one, Oh, get one. You know, I am not a professional. And so on we go. And so, um, you know, what a great documentary this thing was, and it really took my understandings a lot deeper. You know, a lot of times when we're sitting here talking and whatnot, it's cathartic for some of us, and I find that it's pretty cathartic for me. And um but should we be thinking about, you know, taking it deeper and really getting to the bottom of what, why do we need to heal, what happened, what can we do? And you know, personally, I've found a lot of relief in you know, the spiritual nature of some of my um meditations and whatnot, some of my beliefs, and trying to love everybody and be grateful in the things that confront me every day. And this has done wonders for me to be able to even understand that I have a problem. And half of the battle is understanding that we've got a problem that we need to heal. You know, that there is a way out of some of the despair and the depression and you know, understanding that we're not those things that our mind sometimes tells us we are because of the things that happened to us when we were children. You know, in this movie, when I was watching it last night, they started talking about a parent coming at you and grabbing you and then beating you, and I realized that that was my mother coming after me. Holy smokes, look at me. You know, and I believe that most of us experience stuff like this. You know, she would come after me, and if she had the butter paddle in her hand, you know, we were a farm family in the 50s, and if she had the butter paddle in your hand, you knew you were going to get beat. And that was all there was. She told me I was going to have a spanking one time, and I went and put a book in my pants. And oh my God, I got the beating of my life after that. Oh, geez. You know, so these are the things that we're dealing with, and we were told, you know, it's no wonder that I buried all that stuff, because trying to be somebody that I wasn't, so I wouldn't get beat. You know, and many of us, particularly from my age bracket, that's the way it was. You know, when we were all young, and all young hippies, you know, everybody was a young hippie. We would like do anything to keep from doing that to our children, and so I think that we did other things to traumatize them instead, and so much of what happens in our lives can bring these traumas. You know, fuck, I've had the divorces, more divorces than I care to even think about, and that was like one of the indicators of trauma, was the fact that you can't have a lasting relationship, and so, you know, there are things to heal. I've also been working on this Mary Morrissey dream building thing that I actually stumbled onto, and you know, part of that is trying to undo those limitations that we have been building around our bodies. You know, be opening up to new and exciting thing, you know, opening up to new things, to new thought patterns, to get out of those old ruts that I am in, and I think most of us are. I can talk about my shit, and I'm just gonna kind of cut to the chase today. I don't feel like not being foul mouthed. So sorry if that offends anyone, but this is really an important topic, and sometimes when I'm talking important stuff, my language digresses, and so I know I'm a little early in the program for doing that, but oh well, it's not made for kids anyway. So gosh, and so are you guys ready to heal? I mean, do you have traumas? I mean, what has been some of your traumas? And let's talk about this. Let's ask questions, and let's get a conversation going about this. Let's be supportive of each other, and see if maybe we can't help ourselves get past it, as we transition and do things. We open ourselves up to being a marginalized community, and people of color are even more marginalized and have a tougher go of it. And gosh, I think that we can join together here and help each other, and in a few hours at 7 o'clock Pacific time, me and Heidi, we do a gender support group on Zoom, and you get a chance to speak back with us, and we'll probably talk about this more tonight. But this is what my focus is now, is right here, and let's go for it. Do we have any questions, or is any of this resonate? How do we go about healing? How do we go about supporting each other when we try to get through some of these things? We're not monsters. We're not anomalies. We're human beings. And we need to stick together and bring others in with us to hold close. And oh, my stars. And then, maybe, just maybe, we can get further down the road, and this movie that I watched, God, it was so moving. I literally cried through 3/4 of it. I mean, it was so intense because they were talking about drug addiction, and I've been there, done that. They were talking about all these relationships and parenting and all those things, and then I grow up in this home where I was beat. I got kicked out of the house when I was 17 years old, and have had to survive on my own since I was 17, and so there's been a little bit of trauma in there. I don't even remember most of my childhood. I had forgotten about those instances of the beatings. The one thing that I had remembered was when my father would put boxing gloves on me and make me fight my brother, who was 3 years older and 100 pounds heavier. He was kind of stockily built. He was out working on the farm when I was still playing with dolls. And so they would throw us together, and I would get the shit beat out of me all the time. And they would sit there and just kind of laugh at me. It was not fun, and it wasn't funny to me at all. And consequently, I did not grow up to be much of a fighter because I was so busy being in a fetal position. And so I see that we're starting to get some comments in here. So I'm going to go to the chat room for a minute, and then I'll just, and we'll just make this our conversation for today. I am so grateful that you're all here, and oh gosh, I guess because this is so dear. Oh my God, I'm going to be emotional probably through this whole thing, but that's why I've been nervous building up to this moment, and I'm a freaking human being, and I did not realize how much it affects me, I've been trying to get to the bottom of these I figured if I didn't know what happened in my childhood, that I had trauma, but I didn't know what it was. And so then, my friend Margaret over there in London, I'd been trying to find that movie all day long. And that's still up on the website. It just premiered. I think the end of the premiere was the 14th. And today's the 16th. And so it's like, what's the name of it? The Wisdom of Trauma. And if you go to the wisdomoftrauma.com, I think you can watch the movie, and it didn't cost anything for me. So fabulous deal. And wow, that man is amazing. He's from just north of me up here, I think in Vancouver and in Canada. And how they got into using ayahuasca or some other psychedelic drug, and the dude that he worked with during a trip, had his bone cancer go into remission. I mean, our health, the well-being of our bodies is all about this stress and trauma, and us telling ourselves bad things because of it. And so we could be healthier, physically healthier, if we can heal. And to me, that's just amazing. Okay, I digress. I started to go to the chat. So I guess that would be her problem now, Louise. Oh, well. Oh, gosh. Yeah, ask Chloe. She's much more knowledgeable about this than I am, I imagine. But I guess I should maybe I can talk to. I don't know. Interesting thought. Okay. Has your sister addressed her trauma? Well, I see the bark collar on my dog has not worked. Oh. Oh, dear. Hang on a second. We got problems. Come on. My big fear, the yard guys came when he was outside. Oh, no kidding. And look how traumatized we all are by it. I would have never considered that. But then you look at my life, drug addiction, can't even begin to have a decent relationship with another person. So Heidi's got stuff here. My dad would make us go down, we'd go get our own switches so they could whip our ass or whatever else you could find around him. Yeah, no, I've had to do that too. Simone, there are a lot of things that have to be rethought today. Absolutely. Absolutely. Uh-oh, I have offended Louise. Casey, growing up, my mother came at my brothers and I often with various things. When I got older, she tried that once and I caught it and ripped it from her hand. She tried that on me, much less after that. Oh, I was unstable. Boy, I paid way too much money for computer to be unstable. So where did we get to, Simone? Thank you, Simone. I'm trying to express myself, and it's hard because as I was taught never to show my vulnerability, and that has been something that came with HRT, but it's still uncomfortable sometimes, and you know while everything is kind of makes me angry, I have to react or respond in an adult manner, and so there's no point. But yeah, thank you for pointing that out. Where are we at, Casey? Oh my, yeah. Yeah, I hope you can all see that. I don't want to read them all, but my mother, I became larger than her, and she was an invalid anyway, and so she had to stop when I was about 13 or so. But she would still, think that she had control over me. Like she caught me smoking one time when I was about 13, 14. And so the deal had always been she would, sit me down, make me smoke a pack of cigarettes or something. And so we sat at the kitchen table and she got out her pack of cigarettes and started having me smoke one right after the other. And I'm just sitting there chit-chatting with her and smoking away. And after like 3 cigarettes, she got pissed and stomped away, and sent me to my room, which was laughable. Oh my gosh. Okay. But she never came at, and exactly, once you're bigger than they are. I missed the one from Christy. Oh, dear Simone. You know, with my own deal, I'm not sure that they were always that mad at me. You know, this is one of those times when I like to go back to the four agreements is don't take things personally. You know, my mother and my father did not like each other all that much. And so a lot of times they would be fighting. One of us kids would do something and set them off into this rage, and then they would take it out on us. And so yeah, I laughed for a good number of years until last week about how I probably deserved half the beatings I got. But really, I'm not so sure of that today. I am understanding and some level of each other would be on the road to healing. But if there's no commit, then where do you begin? Well, that's a really good question. You know, I'm not sure that we ever really have to deal with that other person. What we can begin with is forgiving, you know, and we don't even have to say anything to them. I mean, they might not be receptive to it, but that's not the point. The point is ourselves. And if we can forgive them, forgive ourselves, we don't have, you know, you throw it out to the universe and it's better than nothing. Um, so some of this is all out of context, and oh, I see. I am assuming an understanding and some level of acceptance. So, so this is part of what the wisdom of trauma was about, is because it's like our memory patterns are like muscle memory. You know, somebody says something to us and we immediately go back to what our mother said to us or something, and we start beating ourselves up because you miserable little monster or whatever they called us. And 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 that's where the healing it has to begin, is changing our thought patterns. I think a lot of it, we don't need to worry about anybody else other than ourselves. And and it's just bringing, you know, those thoughts, the new way of thinking, and making it a habit so that when we hear that, um, it doesn't send us back there. And one of the examples that this Gabor Mate used when he was talking to somebody was if you know, somebody said that you were, oh gosh, something funny, you know, that you were the funniest person on the face of the planet, you would just like, oh, yeah, that's not true. Or I know, he said, like, if you had really pretty, or if I had really pretty pink or green hair, and the person replied, well, I don't have green hair. And he said, well, what if I said that you were a monster? And she said, well, that would hurt me. And he replied, but you're not a monster. Why can't it be like the green hair? That it's that kind of shift. Oh, that's not true at all. I'm no monster. I'm not an abnormality. Everything is fine with me. I'm good. I'm a good person. And so that's, that's cool. Oh dear. I'm so sorry, Louise. But this is it. This is how we're trying to get off that negative path, Christy. And I don't know. And this is how we do it. We keep trying to build each other up. We're not these abominations. We're just human beings, and we deserve a good life too. And I want to say hi to Holly. I'm glad you made it today, Holly. So Holly suffers too, and you know, um, cruel words are damaging, and it really doesn't matter who the heck we are, whether we're trans or cis or whatever, gay, straight, hetero. Cruel words hurt, and there's no getting around that. And so how do we go? Sorry. Well, it's my spiritual path. Oh dear. The serenity prayer. So the serenity prayer helps me to let go of what I have no control over. Well, it also encourages us to change the things we can. And sometimes I'm not always sure. It took me a long time to figure out that there was a second line of it. It seems to me, and for those who don't know, I will say the serenity prayers. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. It took me a long time to figure out that I had the wisdom. At first, when I heard that, it was accept, 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 accept. And then after a while, when there's all this stuff coming at you, you might not be able to change somebody else, but you can change the way that I react about that. And so, I can change the way I think about things. I can change things. Sometimes I can do stuff that mean absolutely nothing in the big picture, but I don't have to go along with the status quo, and and so that's the way it is. That's the way I look at it. Here is a great question. How can we forget the past? How can you change the past? You have to accept what has happened. I don't know if I talked I don't know, maybe I talked about this last week. I don't think so. somebody sent me a missive about the mistakes I had made in my life, and after thinking about it, um, I wrote back and I says, you know, it's all life. It is all life in the past. Everything that happened from yesterday on back is nothing but life. There are no mistakes. You can't change any of that. I had to live each one of those days to get to be who I am today. Today, I actually like who the hell I am. That's important. And I hope you all like who you are. But Holly, you can't change the past. You have to forget it. I mean, you don't have to forget it. You can remember every bit of it, but you can't change it. You have to accept it and start working on being who you like. Live authentically. Nothing in the past can be changed. So, Christy, I think I'm the one who used that word. So, am I hateful and ugly? Just asking. So, we learn a little bit about cats. That's funny. So, yeah. So maybe Hitler, maybe Trump are abominable. Well, there's the abominable snowman, and I don't think he really did anything. But maybe those people like that. But then even at that, um, even at that, to you know, somebody here said, months ago was talking to me about forgiveness. I think it was about the time that I did the show on forgiveness, and they said I cannot forgive. And I thought, well, how do you want to live with all that anger and hate inside you because you can't forgive these people for what they have done? And I this opens up a whole can of worms that I don't want to argue anything about. I don't want to be the bad guy here. But and I get this from survivors of the Holocaust who were able to forgive the Nazis. And to me, I was just like, holy shit, how's that happen? And it's a freaking miracle because they got love, and one of the things that starts changing the way we think is gratitude. To me, some of the healing that I've done over grief, depression, stems from gratitude. We live in gratitude. If we live in gratitude, then our lives start changing, and so how's that happen? So thank you, Christy. I was worried there for a minute. Right, we can forgive, but we don't necessarily have to forget. And I agree with this a lot, Casey. And I gotta go shut that off. How'd that happen? Oh dear, now I'm lost. Um, there. Yeah, I love this. When we finally start living authentically and living in gratitude, living, with love in our hearts, things start changing. And this is really kind of like the gist of the wisdom of trauma is just learning how to change our thinking a little bit. And they talk about gratitude and it's my stitches are gone. It's still red as all get out, and it itches today. You guys are really like got some good stuff here. But Christy, do you want to pack let them rent space in your head? It takes a lot of energy to continue to just hate people, to dislike or to not forgive, to have resentments. You know, one of the things that they ask us to do in recovery program is to pray for people that we have resentments against, and pray for them to have everything that we have and that we desire. And pretty soon the resentment starts going away. They say do it for 2 weeks, and that was some of the stuff that I learned. These are like things that started changing my life. I mean, you've heard me talk about being that negative SOB years and years ago. And I didn't change overnight. I had to do the work, the spiritual work, to have any kind of chance of living a positive life. And I think that I've done pretty good with that. And so that's what possesses me to get on here and talk about this. And we can change. We don't have to stay stuck in these places of traumatized adulthood. We don't have to stay there. And it's not about the other people. It's about ourselves. And I've talked about this before, that happiness is an inside job. Nobody is going to make me happy. I'm going to make me happy. Nobody's going to, they can't change me. I can change me. We can't change them. We can change us. And so, Justice Persephone, I think that you can just, for something they did horrible to you, is not reality. The forgiveness, if anything, is ignoring them, getting them out of your life. To a certain extent, I don't disagree. But, when other people, like, what was that guy's name? Desmond Tutu, for example, they locked him up for a good number of years in some weird ass prison in South Africa. And he comes out and like, this man forgives them. The Dalai Lama forgives people regardless of, Do they forget about him? No, they don't. They don't forget him. But they, and hello to you too. I think that you're new here, and welcome. Well, I'm glad that you tuned in here. I really am, and I hope hopefully you'll hear something that keeps you coming back. Um, so um, you, you know, I'm not a professional, so I'm just a human being that's trying to get a conversation going that maybe some of us can heal. And I'm glad you're here. So here's another new person today. Um, Blue collar hero. Hi, how are you? Good to see you. Um, I think you're new here too, and welcome. So let's get back. Christy, I don't feel like harboring hate for the person I'm thinking of. That person and all the people involved are now dead and gone. The transgression they did happened long before I showed up. So, yeah. So why let them rent space? Excuse me. So, anyway, that's where I'm at today. I'm trying to find, oh gosh, we haven't even made an hour yet. So, my family takes space in my head because I still take up a lot of space and they still take up I really want to go no contact, but I'm the last link. And well, that's a good thing to talk about. Um, I'm thinking, do we find it necessary to go places where we're not welcome, not wanted? To me, it's just like setting ourselves up for more trauma, you know. I know you're a lot younger than I am, and over the, oh dear, over the years, my brother have not spoken very much, and then when I transitioned, he just like completely wrote me out of contact, and I don't really care. You know, I'm not going to go bug him or anything. I've thought about calling him up and just saying, "Hey, how you doing?" You know, because he's getting up there in years, and I don't know. If nothing changes, then we go the rest of the lot. You know, we're done talking for this lifetime, and but I'm not sure how bad I want to set myself up for being traumatized by some weird ass thing that he's gonna say that his weird ass Christian beliefs are, you know, so bigoted and hateful. You know, so why would I want to set myself up for that? You know, if people, you know, it's like when you go shopping. If people treat you right, you go back to that store. If they don't treat you right, you find another store that carries the same stuff. If you can't find some place that doesn't treat you good, you go on Amazon. You know, not that I'm a big fan of Amazon, but at least they don't treat me bad. You know, when people treat customers poorly, I don't get it. You know, just my personal opinion. Sorry. Oh, this is when I need a guest, and they can talk for a couple minutes. Um, I'm reading stuff, so as I cough, I'm dying here on the inside. Amen. Amen. And so if they want to see you, then they need to start treating you with respect and love. It's that simple. If they want to guilt you into coming to the family gathering so they can abuse you, screw them. It's not worth it. There's no point. Stay gone. Hopefully this cough will go away. Crap. I don't want to just like get off. Wow, I love this. I myself am guilty of negative behavior and I'm trying to unlearn it. As am I, Justice. As am I. You know, I'm no frickin' saint. A red bar, I missed something here. So a blue collar, letting go of a ruined old life is better than rebuilding it with lies and bad emotions. It's an emotional pitfall to become the bully or villains that we are sometimes accused of being. Big sigh. Yeah, I don't disagree. We don't, yeah, we don't need to be the bully there. And there's no point in rebuilding something if it's wrong. Sure. And I'm not sure how accepting she is. I mean, she calls me sis and whatnot. I mean, but our relationship has changed since I transitioned, and we're not as close as we once were. All that being said, you know, sometimes I want to chit chat with her because I still love her, and so we talk. You know, we'll get on the phone, and the next thing you know, a couple hours have gone by, and and we've covered a lot of territory. But we talk a lot about those traumas of our past. I mean, she talks more about it because she was older, remembers more than I do, and you know, it's just real interesting. Oh, see, there's things that go on in the chat room that I just don't know about. Especially in the case of she's 60 now and isn't in the best of health anymore, but she's trying to do things that people my age barely can do, and I'm always guilted into helping. Whoa. Yeah. Boy, that's interesting. I don't know. I guess talk about it, communicate, say, Mom, you know, you don't need to guilt me into this. I don't know. I don't have the answers for everything. I try. but I'm not perfect. Oh God. But you know what's helpful? I don't know why that keeps doing that. There we go. Um, what's helpful is just bringing this stuff up and putting it out there. And so how does that make you feel to say that publicly like that, Casey? How does that make us feel? And you know, oh wow. Yeah. I'm currently having anxiety. Yeah. Boy, that's a tough one there. Hey, it was good to have you here, Blue Collar Hero. Come again. And headed to the sauna for self care. Wow. Great. Oh, Holly. So a little Shakespeare pops in. What do you mean, what happened? What happened to what? Here's what I was trying to get to. Here's a quote but the thing is, even if I could go back, I wouldn't belong there anymore. Yeah. Yeah. Um, I as you know, the 22 cousins on my mother's side of my family, and when we were young, we all grew up together. You know, our families lived pretty close for a long time, and one of my cousins actually lives 30 miles down the road, and he and I get into conversations every once in a while, and he was talking to me a while back about one of our cousins' health, and we were expecting him to pass away. And so I asked John, I said, my God, should I go to the funerals? And I don't want it to become about me. You know, I just want to go, pay my respects to my cousin that I grew up with. And he said, you absolutely need to go. And then I was talking to my sister and she said, I don't know. And so I just wouldn't belong there anymore. Is the point I'm trying to get to? Is they are seeing something that they don't understand, and I don't know. I don't know. You know. Oh gosh, what's Casey got going? It's not that I don't want to, but her narcissism cuts me down every time. Like, Mom, I'm here giving my time to help you, and you're so. Gosh, I don't know, and I think that I wouldn't go. I don't know. It's easy for me to say, but I don't know. I don't want to lead you. I don't want to lead you wrong, Casey. Um, I don't know. That's tough. That's tough. And here I try to be supportive of whatever you decide to do, and if you want to talk, let's do a private conversation about it. I'm game anytime you are. I try to be here for y'all, and I'm on the social medias, and you can all you know get in touch with me if you want. I'm not always good for hours and hours, and I don't like to text. So, but you're a pretty strong lady, Holly. You are pretty strong. Well, so much of those, Christy, are because they're so paramount in our existence. I think those are the people who are closest to us, the one, and so often a lot of our traumas come from our childhood, and everything else that happens later in life is really kind of based back here when we were children because of those learned behaviors that are wrong carrying forward, and we keep reinforcing them through the years. This is what I get from that movie, the wisdom of trauma. And I, probably what we should do is this is our homework assignment, is go to the wisdomoftrauma.com, see if you can watch it, and then we'll talk about it more next week. And so, does that sound like a plan? I'll tell you what, I was really deeply moved, and I will watch it again too, because I think, when I started watching it last night, I was kind of like dozing through part of it. And so when I finished watching it this morning, I had to redo part of it. And so I'd like to see the first half again too. And it was just a phenomenal thing. When I start getting emotional all the way through a movie, I see a lot of movies where I'll cry for a couple minutes or something, and I think, oh, that's pretty good for me, big deal. And then here's a movie that I just sat and the tears just running down my face. I'm not sobbing. I'm just emotional. And just to lighten the mood, you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your friend's nose. Well, thank you for sharing that, Christy. So, oh, you guys are like killing me here. So does that mean you want to talk about something else? Well, that's good, Louise. That's good. That's what I get out of it. That's why I wanted to talk about it. It was, boy, that one eye is oh dear, my makeup's running. Too many tears. Um, I still see my therapist, and she encouraged me to do the gender support thing with Heidi, and so Maybe if Heidi would stick up the name of our Facebook page, because the link to our Zoom meeting is on that Facebook page. I don't know exactly what it's called. I'm horrible. Is Heidi still here? But anyway, and hearing everyone's points has been helpful. That is good to hear, Casey. Thank you. So it takes work to get through any of this kind of stuff. You know, that's one thing about it, you know, is I don't know, for another reason, I had that song Money for Nothing, the old Dire Straits song going through my head today because of something else that happened. And you know, you just don't get something for nothing. And so if you don't do the work, if you don't do the spiritual work on some of this stuff, regardless of your beliefs, I mean, there's just these old things that have been handed down for thousands and thousands of years for some of the different things, like, you know, Taoist is like 4,000 years now, and you know, time just keeps going on, and these things are truth. You know, that if we live in gratitude, things start changing, but it takes work to start living in gratitude. You know, I mean, it doesn't happen overnight. None of this stuff happens overnight. We don't heal overnight. It's a process, it's a journey. And you know, when my journey on and this time frame ends, and this is what I'm working towards now, when my journey ends, I want it to be right with the world, you know, with my world, whether that includes my family or doesn't include my family. It's up to them. It's not, you know, I can only worry about me. And so that's really the point, the aspect that I take on this is I have to worry about myself. I can change me, but I can't change you. And so come with me on the journey or not. It's up to you. It's not supposed to be easy. You know, there's a phrase in a book that I read, the trudging the road of happy destiny. And I love that, you know. Damn, Louise, your sister, something else. That is so painful. Holly, only like you when you agree with them. That's so true. So, did you hear my request to put the name of the Facebook, you know, a link to the Facebook in there, and then I need one some pasted someplace so I can add it to the bottom of our page here. Hey, Wallene, thank you so much for coming today, and we will see you later. Um, I hope you enjoyed the program today. Indeed, she is hurting herself more than you. So, I don't know. I'm kind of running out of steam on this. So I didn't see anybody accept the challenge of like talking about this next week after watching that movie. Is this one of those deals where a link like that won't come up, be visible? Um, so okay. Yeah, it's just what is it? thewisdomoftrauma.com. Yeah, that link didn't come through, Heidi. I don't know. I don't see it anyplace. There we go. Oh, that's the Christie link for the movie. Okay. Okay. Oh, I can't get that here on. There, that's that Facebook link that I was talking about. And thanks, Heidi. Okay, we've covered it. And so anybody got any other questions? You want anything that you all want to talk about for the next few minutes? And Christy, the link that I posted was for the support, gender support, where there's a link for the Zoom meeting at 7 p.m. Pacific tonight. I don't know. So glad you could make it, Justice, and I hope that you come back another day. And you know, there's just so much to discuss. It is kind of a private group, Christy. If you would like, I can add you. We'll figure it out. What sports team is that? Who's paying any attention to sports? How about that sports team? So anyway, let's wrap this up. Where was Sarah today? Oh, my stars. Have I missed anything major? Blue Collar Hero had some stuff to say. It's much easier to live positively. Being scrutinized or being on the defensive is exhausting. Amen to that. Wow. Amen. Yeah, you guys are like hot today. Thank you all so much for being here. And I do wish you all the best today. And I'm going to just close out. Everybody's already leaving. And so much love to everyone. Oh, oh, I think Einstein and sticking his tongue out should be an available emoji. Okay, you guys. Hey, thank you all for being here today, and we will see you next week, God willing, and love you all. Bye-bye.